Our thoughts and words have immense power. They shape our reality. Have you ever noticed how a bad thought can spiral? It can pull you down a path of negativity. Before you know it, you're feeling down and the day seems bleak. The same goes for positive thoughts. They uplift us, energize us, and attract more positivity into our lives. This happens because our subconscious mind is always listening. It doesn't judge our thoughts. It simply accepts them as truth. Every time we think or say something, we are sending a message to our subconscious. These messages then influence our feelings, behaviors, and the reality we experience. By becoming aware of our thought patterns and choosing our words carefully, we can create a more positive and fulfilling life. It's like planting seeds. Negative thoughts are like weeds. Positive thoughts are like flowers. One of the most important things to understand about our subconscious mind is that it doesn't differentiate between self-criticism and criticism of others. When we constantly complain about others, we are essentially sending negative messages to our subconscious about ourselves. It's like pointing a finger and forgetting that 3 fingers are pointing back at us. For example, if we constantly complain about a coworker being lazy, our subconscious picks up on the word lazy and associates it with us as well. It doesn't matter if the complaint is directed outward, our subconscious internalizes the negativity. This can lead to feelings of low self-worth, self-sabotage, and a lack of motivation. The same principle applies to positive affirmations. When we compliment others, we are also complimenting ourselves. Our subconscious absorbs the positive qualities we see in others and begins to integrate them into our own self-image. By becoming aware of this powerful mechanism, we can start to shift our perspective. Complaining is like a magnet for negativity. When we complain, we are focusing on what we don't want in our lives. This sends a clear message to the universe: give me more of what I don't want. And guess what? The universe delivers. When we complain, we are also lowering our own vibration. We are emitting low-frequency energy that attracts more low-frequency experiences into our lives. It's a vicious cycle. The more we complain, the worse we feel, and the more we attract situations that confirm our negative beliefs. Have you ever noticed how complainers seem to attract more things to complain about? It's not a coincidence. They have created a negative feedback loop that keeps them stuck in a cycle of dissatisfaction. The good news is that we have the power to break free from this cycle. Breaking free from the cycle of complaining requires a conscious decision to take responsibility for our own experiences. This means acknowledging that we are not victims of circumstance, but rather creators of our own reality. It means recognizing that our thoughts, words, and actions have a direct impact on our lives. Taking responsibility does not mean blaming ourselves for everything that goes wrong. It simply means acknowledging that we have the power to choose our response to any given situation. We can choose to react with negativity and blame, or we can choose to respond with positivity and responsibility. The key is to focus on what we can control, which is our own thoughts, words, and actions. We can't control the traffic, but we can control how we respond to it. By taking responsibility for our own experiences, we empower ourselves to create a more positive and fulfilling life. One of the biggest obstacles to taking responsibility is the tendency to blame others. When we blame others, we are essentially giving away our power. We are saying, "You are in control of my happiness and I am powerless to do anything about it." Blame is a form of denial. It's a way of avoiding responsibility for our own feelings and actions. When we blame someone else, we are essentially saying, "It's not my fault." This may provide temporary relief from guilt or shame, but it ultimately prevents us from growing and learning from our experiences. Breaking free from blame requires a willingness to look within. It requires us to honestly examine our own thoughts, beliefs, and behaviors. It requires us to ask ourselves, how am I contributing to this situation? Our words have incredible power. They can uplift and inspire, or they can tear down and destroy. When we complain, we are using our words to focus on what we don't want, which only attracts more of the same. By becoming more aware of our communication patterns, we can start to use our words to create a more positive and fulfilling reality. One helpful technique is to pay attention to how often we use the word but. But is a negation word that cancels out whatever came before it? For example, I want to go to the gym, but I'm too tired. The but negates the desire to go to the gym. Instead of using but, try using and or yet. For example, I want to go to the gym, and I'm feeling tired, maybe I'll go tomorrow. This subtle shift in language keeps the possibility of going to the gym open, without judgment or negativity. Taking responsibility for our own happiness is essential for creating healthy and fulfilling relationships. When we blame others for our own unhappiness, we are placing an unfair burden on them. We are essentially saying, "It's your job to make me happy," which is an impossible task for anyone to fulfill. When we take responsibility for our own happiness, we free ourselves from the need to control or change others. We accept them for who they are, flaws and all. This allows us to experience deeper levels of love, compassion, and intimacy in our relationships. For example, imagine a couple where one partner constantly complains about the other's lack of tidiness. The complaining partner is essentially saying, "You are not good enough the way you are." This creates tension, resentment, and conflict in the relationship. Now imagine that same couple, but this time, the complaining partner decides to take responsibility for their own happiness. They choose to focus on the positive aspects of their partner and the relationship. Our thoughts are incredibly powerful. They are the building blocks of our reality. Every thought we have sends out a vibration that attracts similar vibrations back to us. This is the law of attraction in action. When we focus on negative thoughts, we attract negative experiences into our lives. When we focus on positive thoughts, we attract positive experiences. It's that simple. Our thoughts are like seeds that we plant in the garden of our minds. Negative thoughts are like weeds. They choke out the good and prevent us from flourishing. Positive thoughts are like flowers. They add beauty, fragrance, and joy to our lives. Shifting from a complaint-based mindset to one of gratitude can be transformative. Complaining keeps us stuck in a cycle of negativity, while gratitude opens us up to abundance and joy. When we focus on what we are grateful for, we shift our energy from lack to abundance. We begin to see the good in our lives, and we attract more good into our experience. Gratitude is like a muscle that needs to be exercised regularly. The more we practice gratitude, the stronger it becomes. A great way to cultivate gratitude is to keep a gratitude journal. Each day, write down 3 things you are grateful for. They can be big or small, simple or profound. The important thing is to focus on the good in your life. Life is a journey of growth and evolution. There will always be challenges and obstacles along the way. It's how we choose to respond to these challenges that determines our level of happiness and fulfillment. When we embrace a mindset of growth, we see challenges as opportunities for learning and expansion. We approach life with a sense of curiosity and wonder, always striving to learn and grow. We understand that setbacks are not failures, but rather stepping stones on the path to success. A growth mindset requires us to let go of the need to be right all the time. It requires us to be open to new perspectives, even if they challenge our own beliefs. It requires us to be willing to make mistakes and learn from them. The beauty of a growth mindset is that it allows us to live in a state of constant evolution.